Hello America, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to my review of Married at First Sight, Season 11, Episode 2. I don't know, Episode 1. Am I going to review The Other Way? I watched the episode. I watched all of the episodes of the shows I needed to review yesterday. But I may just double up and put 90 Day The Other Way with next week's episode. Woody asks Imani if she's scared to be with him. She says yes, because things could be going good and then they could just, she says we're in paradise right now, so the setup could be what's making us feel so, euphoric and so happy. And he says, no, the setup doesn't make me happy. Being here with you makes me happy, and I wouldn't fake that. And then they drive in like dune buggies, and I just wish I could drive in a dune buggy right now. We see Brett. He says that he's having a stellar time with Olivia, and his feelings are growing. Olivia thinks that her and her husband are on the same page as far as, everything. I don't know. So they go over to see Woody and Imani because Olivia and Imani are good friends. Or they are starting to become good friends. Brett talks about how he did an Irish goodbye at the bachelor party, but he only did it because he was really drunk. So, anyway, he winked at Imani, and Imani was like, don't be winking at me like that's cute. That's not cute at all. Then we see them. They go out to dinner. Or was it lunch? They went out to a fucking thing, okay? And I'm getting really sick and tired of Brett always laughing and joking. I know, I'm so sarcastic about things. Okay, can you stop, though? Like, I'm very sarcastic about things as well, but like, can you stop? It's pretty much annoying. She says something and he's like, like, shut up. So they go out and she's like, okay, bro, like, how much money do you make? He tells her how much money he makes. She tells him how much money she makes. She makes considerably more than him because she's a nurse practitioner and he is I don't know, not a nurse. She says, are you uncomfortable with the fact that I make more money than you? And he says, no. Are you uncomfortable? She says, no, but I know how much my bills are. I know how much, I like to spend on stuff, and I don't want money to ever be an issue because I am alone, or because, I've been alone. I don't want to like stop eating out and like, spending time with my friends, not every day, but spending time with my friends and calling my mama and just having the same routine and traveling, because I do make good money and I live by myself and I want to spend it. So he's like, oh yeah, I'm not really into like, going out and doing stuff like that. And so she's like, I really wanted to she didn't say this to him. I really wanted to marry someone who, we could do things together. She's a social person and he's not a social person. I think he's just not broke, but I think he just, doesn't have the money. So he's not going to go out and do the frivolous things that Olivia does. So they go back home and she asks him, is he comfortable with the sexual speed that they're taking things? And like how many dates would you wait to have sex with somebody? And he says 3 dates. And she's like, oh, I do like 7. And he's like, 7? 7's a really long time. 7? She says, well, I've had sex early in relationships and it hasn't really worked out. So I just want to, build things up and focus on, our emotional well-being before the physical. So Brett asks her like something along the lines of, how will we act? Is this how we'll act in, New Orleans, since, we are in a paradise type situation? And she's like, yeah, I don't really like yell. I like to communicate. Just as long as we have communication, things will be good. He says, oh yeah, I'm very into communicating because, I know that that's paramount for a relationship to work. And she's like, okay, cool. And, you know, she talks about, or I guess this was the part where she talked about, you know, how she sees her friends, and how she does this and how she does that. And he's like, it just seems like she's such an active person. She won't have any time for me. I don't like people on Reddit talking about the real villain this season is Karen. Don't do that shit. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not do that shit. Because here we go again. Aw, shit. Here we go again. So we see Amelia. She says that this feels like it was exactly what she needed. She says that she feels as though she could tell Bennett anything and very much open up to him. They go to like the rocks and they like in this little cave and they talking about their childhood and how they would raise children. Their conversations are very deep. It seems as though they're learning, not deep, but it seems as though they are like really like learning a lot about one another and not in like the stages of like a beginner thing, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but it just seems like they just getting straight to it and they just talking about things and actually like sharing how things are and, you know, how past relationships has helped them or hindered them. And it just seems really mature. They both seem very much mature. So Henry sees that Christina is impatient. But the two examples of the impatient behavior that he gave didn't really seem too extreme to me. And also, I'm not saying that Brandon last season was like the best man ever, but like as soon as I seen when production had cut him out of that last, you know, little meetup that they had after everybody had made their decisions, I was like, okay, production can do whatever they want. So production may have had issue with Christina and maybe that's why she's getting a bad edit. We don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, he said that she didn't like the food, and so, you know, she was like complaining about the food, but like who wouldn't complain about the food if it's not the food that you ordered, you know? And also one of the producers called her Christine and her name is Christina, and she corrected him. So I mean, like, you know, I don't really too much see where she was like so impatient or so like off her rocker. Anyway, they go and they do paddle boarding, but before they do that, Christina has talked about, you know, Henry making a move, Henry making a move, Henry making a move. I don't understand, girl. If you want a move to be made, just make it yourself. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. I can see that Henry has a little bit of a sense of humor, but I mean, they really do they really be talking about stuff? They don't really talk about nothing. They don't really, what you want me to say? They not boring. It's just like she knows that Henry is very reserved, but yet she wants Henry to be unreserved and to be this, you know, macho man and stuff, but that's not who Henry is. So I really don't understand why you would think, like, if you want that, just do it yourself anyway. Karen says that she sees a genuine connection with Miles, but they need to learn more about one another. Only thing I have to say about Karen right now in this moment is you say that you want a masculine man, and him saying that he has depression is not, or, you know, him like being emotional is not masculine to you. I'm sorry. Are we living in the same universe? Isn't that like the ultimate like sign of like being secure in your masculinity and being able to be vulnerable and not like having these weird ass shits that some straight men be talking about and washing your booty cheeks? Like, those are things that you want from a man. You want him to wash his booty cheeks. You want him to talk about his feelings. You want him to be vulnerable. You want him to communicate with you. You want him to be healthy enough to go to a therapist to identify his problems and to work through those problems. Is that not a man enough? I'm just a little bit confused. She did ask, you know, I need to understand how can I approach you in these situations and what your level of communication would be. You know, if you need space or if you're going through a day where you are depressed and you don't want to be around me, I need to know how this is going to look. And he says that he's very, you know, communicative. Is that the word? Communicative? That's probably not the word. He be communicating, okay? And he will let you know when he is feeling a certain type of way. The man didn't let you know he had a baby on you. I'm sorry, your ex didn't let you know he had a baby on you. Is that the type of masculinity, the masculine energy you want in your life? But she just needs to go through the process. She just needs to learn. And then one day she'll look back on her statements while her and Miles are still happily married, and she'll be like, damn, you know what, that was real stupid of me to say. But I've grown. And you know, life is all about growth. So if she can grow and change her opinion, then boom. Anyway, so all of the couples meet up. They ask about intimacy. They ask about something else. But then the girl, Bennett says if you could make your partner, or like turn your partner into a fruit, what fruit would it be? Miles said guava. Amani said pineapple. And then Brett and Olivia came and fucked it up, so I don't know what everybody else said. So this is what I'm talking about, the manipulative nature in Brett. Brett hears that, okay, Amani said, what would you rate your partner? Miles asked, what would you rate your partner? Woody and Amani both give each other a 9 because they're like, this is really, really good. But like, what if it ain't as good as we think it is? Okay. Miles says an 8. Karen says a 6.5 because she also can't help but feel like the other shoe will drop. Christina says a 5. Henry says a 7. Olivia says a 7. Amelia says an 8. But Bennett was like, I don't know if you can quantify it, then you know, I'll just say a 10. Whatever. Right? Then Brett says, I'm not going to trivialize something as complex as interhuman relationships by assigning a value to it. Shut your ass up, Brett. But did you see that smirk? Like, it was the little smirk on his face when he heard that Olivia gave it a 7. Like, it was this, like, and you know, in his confessional, he was like, I was really sad that she gave it a 7 because I tried my hardest. But he liked that, though. That little smirk on his face, no. No. So the ladies come back. Olivia, Brett, Henry, and Christina are together. Christina tells Henry that she gave him a 5. He says, oh yeah, you know, I can understand that. We still grown, blah, blah, blah. Henry was really cool with it. Christina was really cool with it. Olivia was like, I gave it a 7. And then Brett was like, no, I think it's demeaning. I wouldn't do that. And Christina was like, I mean, but why won't you do it? It's not like you rating her physically. You're rating the marriage overall as a whole. So then they want to get the drama kicking up. So they tell Henry, Olivia, Brett, and Christina to go back. And that should have been the match. Henry, Olivia, Brett, and Christina to go back to the room, right? And of course, Brett and Henry go off someplace. I don't know what the hell. I would have loved to have known what Henry and Brett talked about. Because they couldn't have talked about much because Henry don't like him. So Christina says, I just need you to keep your eyes open. You know, I need you to just understand about Brett. But I mean, Olivia was like, I mean, girl, you don't really know this man, what you talking about. And she don't. So, you know, she could have kept her mouth shut. But she just says that she sees some red flags. And, you know, that's not really her cup of tea. And she just like to protect Olivia. Okay. So, Amelia and Bennett build a fort. I've been wanting to build a fort for a minute. I still haven't done it. I'm probably going to do it tonight. And as Bennett is talking about all of the things that he'd love to share with Amelia, she goes to sleep. He wakes her up and he said, yeah, I was just telling you, you know, that I wanted to do this and that. And she said, and she was asleep. Okay. Well, at least take the glasses off her face. My camera cut off again. Isn't that great? I'm probably going to have to get a new SD card. Woody sets up this very romantic scene for Amani. He says these really sweet words to her. She really receives it. She feels really heard and appreciated by him. Woody says that he has never been this mushy type of fellow, but since it seems to be working in his favor, you know, with his wife, then maybe he doesn't always have to be this version of himself that he thought he always was. We see Karen and Miles are discussing intimacy. Karen says that sex should happen when they're both ready, you know, albeit maybe never it happens, and he was like, chill, don't do that. He just is saying, you know, sometimes I'd like to hug her and, you know, just be a little bit more affectionate, but I know that we've only known each other for a week, so I'm not going to do that. Christina says that moving in with Henry will be the indication if he will take initiative and take charge. I'm pretty sure he will not, so don't get your hopes up. And we see Olivia and Brett. Okay. So it's weird that Brett didn't like say, hey, I have a problem with X, Y, and Z. And that he waited until the day, you know, to say, or the next morning to say, hey, I had a problem with this, because you had just talked about how much of a stellar communicator you were. But also it's very weird that she kept trying to push. He's not going to give you anything else. It was just weird, because it was like she was asking him questions like, what do you want to do, blah, blah, blah. And it seems, well, to me, like, if the man ain't giving me no answers, you know, no enthusiastic answers the first time I ask him, I'm not going to ask him 2-3 more times, because it's not going to happen. Like, she was just really like, I'm trying to talk to you about this, and you just saying, like, we not going to be able to do nothing because of the cameras, but the camera's not at us. Like, you know, we live in life, blah, blah, blah. She really needs, I don't know, this is not a good match. I just saw it right at that moment. Right at that moment is not a good match. And why don't they give these people counseling before they tell them to go on a national television show and embarrass themselves? Because ratings, that's why. Then the next morning, he's like, hey, I just want to apologize, because she was paying that nigga dust. He was like, oh, ho, ho. And she was like, so he was like, I want to apologize. You know, I overheard you rating. And I overheard your rating, and it was a 7, and that's like a C, or that's like a D, and I just felt really bad. That's a C, number 1. Number 2, I don't know you. Number 3, shut your ass up, okay? Both of them have a little bit of issues. All of these people on this cast have issues, but both of them have a little bit of issues, and Olivia is literally not going to get anywhere. Absolutely. And now we see why Henry and Olivia weren't matched, because she'll drive Henry off a damn cliff. Henry, I need you to talk to me. Talk to me, Henry. And Henry would be like, I don't know what to say, and he'll just fall into the ocean. I'm serious. I don't know. I don't know, but I think he's just gonna play with her mind. I really think that this is the long game for him, and he's just gonna play with her mind. Anyway, I'm done. I'm gonna get off of here. If y'all like this review, you can like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or visit my website. My name is Brielle. I make beats, I sing songs. If you like what you see, come on along. Bye.